right, so is that upside for... That's going to be upside down. Damn it, YouTube. Why do you hate me? Sorry for the... Alright, now we're right. Look at that. There we go. And it's going to stay in place. Alright, so Vito over at Story Supply Company wonderfully sent me a little package. And in the package were the... hello, well, good evening for us here. Were a what or was is there was a copy, a package of Summer and Morning, plus one of the really lovely Plot Point pencils, which I immediately had to sharpen up. It's really quite nice, as well as, let me see, one of the classic Story Supply Company pencils, which are a favorite of mine. These are all made by Musgrave, I believe. And so let me open these up. Hello! So let me, also in the package was a sticker, Story Supply sticker. It's not my first Story Supply sticker. And then in the summer package, I don't know if it comes bundled with them all or just mine, but a little surfboard sticker, which I am going to slap onto my coffee mug because I like to rep Story Supply Company. They are a favorite company of mine. So I'm going to open Summer first. One of the things that I like about Story Supply Company that they started doing is they started using these reusable poly bags. So you can take things out and put them back in. So here's the summer edition, and the belly band stays stuck in there. So there's the belly band. It's a nice thick belly band. I don't know about you guys, but I use my belly bands for bookmarks. And these are nice thick bookmarks. So these reusable bags, what I like about them is when you take out your two notebooks and you're going to use one, you can stick the other two back in and neatly seal that baby back up. Nice. I like that. All right, I'm nerdy. So here's the summer edition. Very bright. I wish I'd added some magenta to it. So one of the things that I've always liked about the Story Supply Company books. So this is one of their Kickstarter notebooks. I've been buying some of their notebooks. I like these as my go-to. It is a fair concern. So their covers are the thickest out there for any pocket notebook brand. These are just like they're so thick that when you fold the notebook over on itself, you can actually write out of hand with pretty decent, like it doesn't flex too much. So this is the summer. Inside, it's got a nice wave. And I like how they did the contents and the date. I don't know if all of the summer edition was blank or not, but this one is blank. They use two staples. In this case, they're copper color. In the back, another nice wave. Then their mission statement down on the bottom. Very simple. I really enjoy the dual printing. So you've got the bright outside and then the dual print. I really like that a lot. So that's summer. And since I'm not going to use that tonight, I'm just going to stick that back in the bag because I can. And then I'm going to show you Morning. Yes, they are fountain pen friendly. I've had very good luck with Story Supply. I have a used one. Give me a moment. So this is number 55, and I am currently on notebook number 94. So let me tell you, this was filled, I don't want to put I think I already showed you my address. This was filled on 6/2/2016. It started on 5/16/2016. So they wear really well. This was only in my pocket for about 2 weeks, but you can see that the covers do wear really well. Here's a test page. They still use the same paper. So a couple of fountain pens there. And let's see. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. There's a little bit of show through. No soak through. No soak through to the other side. These are just some notes on my coffee bean inventory from 2015. So I'm not, a little bit of soak through there, but not a whole lot. One of the things that you're going to notice is that the ruling has changed. This has a very narrow 5mm ruling, and the new... I think they all use the same paper. So let me open this up. We can certainly ask Vito. Again, loving this little poly bag. I haven't tested it. We can test that out tonight. I'll pop open one of the summer. So here's the belly band. Really enjoying that kind of foggy print on that. Again, really nice thick belly band. I'm going to pop 2 of these back into the baggie. All right. So so there's the, I got schmutz on it, of course. There's the logo, and you can see it's basically, this is a gradient print, but it's done to look like fog. It's got black staples, and then there's the logo on the back. And then inside is more of that fog print in a lighter shade. So you got a nice gray, and then a little bit of fog. And then they've got dates, contents, and then a spot to put your address. Then you'll notice that the printing, the ruling, is still super light blue-gray, but it is wider. Let's measure it, because we're going to be a nerd. So this is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's about a 7mm up from the 5mm in the old one. So here's 7mm. Here's the old one, so you can see. I'll put them side by side. There's the 5mm. Here's the difference. Now, I don't know if it's visible on the camera because of the lighting in this room, but this actually looks like a warmer, it's a different shade of yellow. It could just be because the ruling is wider, so I'm seeing there's less of the blue-gray, but this looks like slightly different, slightly warmer shade, maybe. I think it's the same paper, though, so that could just be my perception. But, yeah, and again, check out this cover. Super thick. I love the cover. I really like this fog. It's really, really nice, and it feels good too. Yeah, it does. It looks slightly darker than the other page, but one of the things that I really like about the Story Supply pocket notebooks is how thick that cover is. It's just so thick. So it really stands up. And then I don't know if I got that in there yet or not. It's got a nice little quote in there, then their mission statement. So yeah, that's the morning. And I'm I'm not putting that back into the baggie because that's going to be my next notebook. So it's going in my spot for my next pocket notebook. But can do. Yeah, they're very durable. They stand up really well. My dog is at my feet begging because he thinks I have food. I don't know if you guys can hear him or not. So let's take one of these. See how it stands up to a light watercolor wash. What have I done with my water brush? That's the real question. Here we go. And it's even full. So here I've got a water brush. What have I done with my watercolors? No, seriously, what did I do with my watercolors? I have a box of them somewhere. I seem to have hidden my watercolors, or my nicer watercolors on me. So I'm going to take a look at, I've got a couple of different sets that I made. These are just cobbled together sets. Yeah, this is a good one. So this has a variety, and I just dropped some watercolors. All right, so these are Sennelier watercolors, and then these are Holbein and Dan Smith. So I got a variety of brands in here. So let's give this a little bit of a test with watercolors. Here's the Sennelier. Just doing a really light wash. All right, so let's see how that that looks on the other side. I can see there are some spots where it's beating through. You can see up in here where the water is, which is actually where I was a little heavier with the watercolor. So you can see it's not a really heavy coat, but yeah, you can see there's some soak through there with the watercolor. So I would say that maybe if you're just doing like a really quick spot color maybe, but anywhere where I worked it a little more, it soaked through. So anywhere that I added, you know, an extra layer of color, or I went back in and worked that color, it's going to bead through. So you can see, like, spot color, okay. Extra water, soak through, bead through. So I would say that these are probably going to be better off for pen and ink because they do. Let's see if I can actually get this to write. This is loaded up with some J. Herbin Rouge Hematite. So we'll see how it takes that. I have a blotter. I got some trash paper here I'll stick in there. So, not okay with watercolors. Here's the, this is a TWSBI 530, one of the originals with a medium nib. And, I'm going to go watercolors out of there. And of course, it's not going to write right out of the bag. Ah, there we go. That didn't take long. As you can see, this is a little dry. I haven't used this in a while. I use this for editing. Because who says I can't have glitter while I edit? Might as well enjoy when I'm writing negative things to myself. So that's a Rouge Hematite, which I actually find to be generally pretty well behaved. This is Pilot Blue Black. And of course it started writing and then decided not to. I haven't used either of these pens, so they're being a little hard starting for me. See if I can get that. There we go. It's not Pelican Blue Black. It's Pilot Blue Black. So actually these pens feel really nice on this paper. The paper's nice and smooth. So it feels good on this paper. So let's show you what this looks like. I'm not seeing a whole lot of sheen with the Rouge Hematite, and I'm not seeing any of the glitter either. And actually it's not bad, but it's not great. I wouldn't be bothered by this if I were using it just for writing. That was a Pilot Prera. The smoke color. And it's a relatively well-abused version of that pen. And it has a medium nib on it. So, like you can see, it's not great. It's not bad either. Let me see. Let me grab more pens. And let's do some more testing here. So this is a Kokoro, and that's a extra fine. It's an extra fine. So let me. This is a blue black as well. Oh, thanks for showing up, Vito. I assume it's Vito. So I'm just drawing some cabbage roses here. Little doodles that I do. If you've never used one of these brush pens, they are delightful, and they're very, you can get a really scratchy line, or if you go slow, a nice thick dark line, or if you hold it upright, super, super fine. It's got a really nice tip. I missed that. Yeah, it's one of my favorite pens. So there we go. That's what that looks like on this paper. Let's see what it looks like on the back side. And, oh yeah, so that one, performed really, really well. Oh, yeah, the paper's great. So let's try, this is Sailor, I'm going to butcher that, Rikyu Cha. And this is a Jinhao 992 that I have modified the nib and modified the body of the pen. So I don't know if you can see. I used a oral syringe and squirted some E6000 to seal that up. So that seals the pen up really well so that you can actually eyedropper it. And these pens, once you seal the body, eyedropper phenomenally well. So they're never a hard start. They just work really well once you seal them up and eyedropper them. So this pen, this one is a little scratchy. It's modified to kind of give me a bit of an architect grind. That's what I was attempting with all of these Jinhao 992s that I bought. And I was just practicing with them and kind of screwed them all up. So this one is usually scratchy, but it feels really good on this paper. A little soak through, but then this ink is not particularly well behaved. Let's see. This is Organic Studio Santiago Bay. Also in a modified Jinhao 992. I kind of figured out how much E6000 it took to seal it, and it takes about, I think, 1/4 of a milliliter to seal this up really well. This is just sort of a smooth. So actually that one did pretty well, except for where I really pressed down and slopped some heavy duty ink onto it. Let's try some more inks here on this. This is an Ackerman, and I'm not Van Hoysu's Sap Green. This is one of my, I'm not a big green ink fan, but Lenore, one of my co-hosts of RSVP, uses green ink when she corrects papers and stuff. So she likes green inks. And I actually really, really dig this green ink. It's a great shade. If you're going to do, let's give that some RSVP. So let's check that out. That's super, oh God, that's really heavy. This will often soak through. So it only soaked through in the places where I really pressed down and flexed that nib, which is to be expected. So this is Ackerman Van Franks, which is a great orange-yellow ink. And again, you'll see, so I haven't used any of these pens in at least a week. I've been using bicolored pencils for editing purposes on my manuscript. So I'm really slopping some ink down onto this paper. So I haven't been using my fountain pens. What I was doing initially when I realized I should probably use my fountain pens, my bicolored pens, because I've been working on, and again, where I flexed it, slopped a lot of ink on there, it soaked through. But I think that's the important thing. Okay, so this is Rohr and Klinger Verdigris. I think that's how I pronounce that. I'm not sure what the brand name of that is, but this ink is really, really poorly behaved, despite the fact that this pen is very fine. It soaks through on everything. It's a very wet ink, and it does soak through. But the trade-off is that every pen I put this ink into just feels amazing. So if we're going to get any soak through, for sure, it's going to be with this ink. And, that's really bizarre. thus far. That's the best performing where I slopped it on. Let's so this is Sailor Apricot. Also a lovely orange ink. Also well behaved. And again, all of these pens, even the scratchier ones that I really screwed the modification up on, actually feel really great on this paper. It's nice and smooth. So if you're looking for a smooth paper, and the apricot performed really well, but I think that's par for the course on the apricot. What else do I have in here? Oh, here's a Pilot Petite with Ackerman Park Pop. And I don't label all of my pens like this, just in case you are wondering about it. And this is eyedroppered as well. So this is a kind of a dry writer. So if you are looking for a pocket-sized pen that writes pretty dry, that's a good choice. All right, so I have where are my other fountain pens? This is I would use this one, but my Kakuno, it's eyedroppered and it's less than half full. And I was using it at work and I blobbed all over one of my assessments, which is kind of a no-no. My boss didn't notice. She doesn't, I mean, I don't think my boss actually looks at any of my work anyway. But that is, and something else entirely. Let's try, so this is a Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, one of my favorite brush pens. And this has my gray ink in it. Let's see how that looked. Oh, that performed really well. That's J. Urban. And this has platinum carbon ink in it. Also eyedroppered and very full right now. Let's see how that performs. I find that platinum carbon ink, which is one of my favorite waterproof black inks, actually performs really well. It's a well-behaved ink. So anyway, let's check that out. So yeah, the carbon, as expected, didn't soak through. Of course, there's some show through. I mean, no matter what, you're going to get show through on pocket notebook paper. But performed pretty well. So, where are my other fountain pens? Oh, I know where they are. Here's my Nocco. I don't remember what this one is called. Oh, it is one of my favorite Nock cases. Oh, I was looking for these. And you can, I don't know if you can see, I had this jam-packed. I packed this up when I went up to Maine. Yeah, it's a Sinclair. So I had all of those pens in it for my trip up to Maine, and I think I used 2 or 3 of them when I was there. But we will use these to test this paper here. Look at all those pens. That is a tremendous number of pens to pack into a Sinclair. So this, what is in my TWSBI? I don't remember what ink's in this. It is, I think, an Organic Studio, maybe nitrogen. Oh, Fire and Ice. I think. Could be Robert Oster as well. I'd have to look it up. One or the other. This is an extra fine, I think. Yeah, this is an extra fine nib. I don't care about my pens touching. I'm not worried about that. Here's a TWSBI Mini. This one is often a hard starter. This I usually keep, oh, there we go. This is also an extra fine nib. All my pens are users. I'm not a collector. So if I get little fine scratches in them, I'm not worried about it. Any pen that I have to worry about touching another pen or getting scratches in it, I keep for a little while and then I sell. So this has Sailor Yuki. I don't remember which one it is. No, that's not Iroshizuki. I can't remember what ink it is. It's a Sailor. Yamadori? No. Now I want to look, and I don't think I have it written. I think it's in an older notebook. Yep, it's not in my most recent notebook. Anyway, so it's Sailor something. Well, actually, well, of course, extra fine nibs, you would expect them to do well. This is a Platinum Preppy, extra fine with Preppy ink. And feels great. This is, I find that this Preppy is a little scratchy feeling on paper. It actually feels really, really good on that. And what do I have in this? This is a TWSBI Diamond 540. And it's going to be a hard starter. I used to... Oh, you know what? I know what's in this one. I'm going to have to... This is a little Jacquard bottle, and I just squeezed a little bit of water onto the nib, and it just absorbed it, and that usually gets it started very, very quickly. All right. And this has a fine nib, which is not very fine at all. And it has, I think this is Organic Studio Walden. I always get Organic Studio and Robert Oster's brands mixed up, which I think is just because they're both sheening brands, and so I can never remember which one, which ink is which. All right. So let's look at that. They all look great. The Organic Studio is sheening, which is to be expected. And then those all perform pretty well. I mean, those were all fine or extra fine nibs, which is to be expected. So let's test this Inkjoy. And this is their teal color, which is one of my favorites. This is a 0.7. I find that if any gel pen is going to soak through a paper, it's going to be the Inkjoy. Here's the same one in the capped version, which is, interestingly enough, the exact same innards as the click version. This is a Zebra Sarasa, and I know no one loves the Zebra Sarasa American version as much as I do, but for cheap paper and a gel ink that flows really good and feels really good on crap paper, you can't beat the Zebra Sarasa. Although I will say the Pilot G2, I actually find that at work, the Inkjoy, the work paper, which is super crappy, it's a Staples recycled 30% red package, finest, cheapest, crappiest paper available. The ink, it really absorbs the Inkjoy. The Inkjoy feels great on it, but it just gets sucked into it really, really easily. However, the Pilot G2, which I don't like as much on nice paper. I find on nice paper it tends to blob and not feel very good. So if you use this on like a Leuchtturm or a nicer notebook, it blobs. But on crap paper, the G2 is fabulous. So here's a Uniball Signo 702. 207. 207, not 702. I read it backwards. Go figure. All right. Come on, show me the chat. Oh, that's interesting. Waxy paper? Mine does, yeah, ours don't skip. And here's a Parker Jotter with just a standard ballpoint. All right, so there are those gel inks, and they all look great on this paper. So Story Supply paper, and as Vito said, all of the paper in all of the Story Supply notebooks is the same paper. So you can pretty much expect you're going to get the same sort of performance no matter what on Story Supply notebooks. I like the new ruling quite a bit in the new Story Supply. So it's a little bit wider and I think a little bit more friendly for use. It does, that ruling size is really nice. So yeah, I wouldn't use it for watercolor. So this is dried now. Like I said, this is still damp, but the majority of it is dry. So what you can see for watercolor is the areas where I worked and put more than one layer while it was wet soaked through. Areas where I did spot color didn't soak through. So if you're just going to do quick spot color, you're going to be fine. Oh, one more thing to test. A couple of highlighters. For those of you who are in the US, and if you have a Michaels near you, you're going to be pleasantly surprised, or I was pleasantly surprised to find out that Michaels is now carrying loose, you can buy singles of a whole variety of different pens and markers and things. And the last time I was at Michaels, I did pick up a single of the blue-black Sarasa, I think. And then there was another pen that I picked up in a single, and I don't remember what it was. They're carrying all of the retractable Uniballs, the ones that I just reviewed, and I'm blanking on the name. I'm having a brain fart. But they're carrying all of those in singles, plus the Zebra mild liners. So if you're a bullet journal fanatic and you're looking for mild liners, carry them in singles. They are $2 a pop, but if you get one of those 20% off everything at regular price coupons, that's going to be a great deal on these. So I picked up this color, which I don't remember what they called it. What did they call it on the receipt? I just got it. This is gold. So there's the gold mild liner. This is vermilion. And this is smoke, which is interesting. I would call it like dull teal, but I guess it's kind of smoky. So those are the three mild liners. This is a UB gel highlighter. This is a Sharpie highlighter with, I don't know if you can see that, coffee on it. Welcome to my desk. That's the Sharpie. And this is a Platinum Preppy with a blend of Noodlers. I'm sorry, it's Noodlers. The Paper Mate Inkjoy is great. Um, so this has Noodlers, Year of the Golden Pig, and Firefly in it. I mix it. I think I don't know if it's 50-50 or what I mix it, but I have a giant bottle of it. That's what I use in my preppies, because it is fluorescent. It's nice and wet. Because I find that Year of the Golden Pig, if you're gonna do a actually fluorescent ink, that Year of the Golden Pig is really nice, but the problem with it is that it's very, very dry. It's a super dry ink, and I find causes problems in the pen over time. Yeah, this is a really great, the Clearview. I really like this. I haven't done the review on it yet, but I'm planning on reviewing these. They're really smooth. There's not a lot of ink in them, but what I like is they do stand up. So what you can do is you can stand that up and you can have it sit and then take it out so that your tip doesn't dry out. But you can leave this sitting, and it's not going to dry out badly. So let's look at what these look like. The gel highlighter is still wet, and it's going to be for a while. So actually, if you're looking to bullet journal, this is not a bad option, because none of these, even, I'm actually surprised, usually the Preppy with the Noodlers ink does tend to soak through, and it didn't. There's not even any show through. Very shocking. I'm really happy with that. All right, so one of the things I did want to do, and these are going to go straight into my Sinclair, because this is becoming my mini bullet journal kit. Talk about that in a minute. So one of the things I did get at Michael's tonight is the Recollections. Wait for the camera to catch up with me. Bullet journaling rubber stamp set. This is a clear cling stamp. It anyone who was following RSVP about a year and a half ago will know was basically I was looking for something exactly like this for my Baron Fig undated planner, or actually not undated, my Baron Fig 2018 planner, which I use for work. I'd show you what I did with it, but then I'd be in violation of HIPAA and in a lot of trouble. So I'm not going to show you what I did with my Baron Fig planner. But this is exactly what I was looking for. This is billed as their Traveler's Notebook. I don't want to show you my credit card account number, but this is billed as their Recollections Traveler's Notebook Stamp Kit. It's regular price, $7.99. Right now it's on sale for $4.79. So not a bad deal for a large 16-piece stamp kit. So let's open this up. Throw that away. And what you get in this kit is a lot of plastic garbage. You get a clear stamp block, acrylic block, which is very thin. I think the problem that I will find with this is that my fingers are going to get in the ink. You get a teeny tiny cute little stamp pad, a little folder that fits into your traveler's notebook. Let me grab here's a traveler's notebook that I made. I don't know if there's nothing in it. So it's the right size. So that would fit right into. Notice I don't know if you noticed there was dog hair in that. So it actually fits right into a traveler's notebook. This is the right size. So that's nice. They got that right. So, and actually, I have to say that this little poly folder is very nice. I'm surprised at how nice it is. Then you get your rubber stamps. And so I'm going to admit that I did open this up before, and you guys, this thing stinks. I have never, so I have a number of clear cling rubber stamps, and this smells like a sweaty armpit and skunk. It is kind of foul, really pungent, very strong. Yeah, the best description is skunky armpit. So gross. Sorry for the vivid description. Um, so that it's not. It doesn't cling to my fingers, which is nice. So I'm gonna test some of these stamps out. I did pick up a cheap rubber stamp to use with this. I wanted another teal stamp pad, and I wanted one that was dye based for paper because I've been using a lot of other versions, and for a notebook, I don't need a pigment stamp. So I also have I bought this a while ago. This calendar set of stamps. I like those. um, oh God, I just like it smells so. I like it's sitting there, and I can smell it. I just wanted to get my. So this is a Fiskars rubber stamp kit, acrylic block kit, and you'll notice that it's substantially thicker. I don't know, can you see that on the camera? Can you see the difference? But it's very much thicker. It's like almost double the thickness. Has nice mitered edges. So the Fiskars kit, if you can find it on sale, it comes in a nice storage case. You're not going to damage your blocks. This is a lovely kit. I think I got it on Amazon on sale at some point. So I'm gonna test out the clear block. What I like about the Fiskars, and put it on my hand so you can see it. It has centimeter rulings on it, which is really nice. I think they're centimeter. It might be half inch. They're not half inch. They're not centimeter either. That's kind of disappointing. Actually, I'm wrong. They are half inch. So they're half inch. That's disappointing. I was really hoping they were centimeter for some reason. So let's, I'm going to try out the little star. I'll put the little star. So one of the things that I actually like about the Fiskars is not only can you use the flat part, but you can put the stamps onto the edge and stamp. If you got something really tall and narrow, you can use the edge. See what that looks like. So the rulings help you figure out where things are and make sure you're getting them straight. Actually, we got to test this because this is, I actually have some of the Recollections little stamp pads like this, and they're really not bad. They're not great, but I don't even know if I got that inked up enough. Actually, it's not bad. Maybe it might help. I've read, yeah, actually what I'm noticing is the more I use it, I've read that with these you need to wash them first before you use them. So that doesn't work bad. That's a pretty good one. Let's try another one. Let's use this block this time. Oh God, these are just pungent. Really strong. I'm shocked at how strong. I mean, every time I move this this block, it stinks. Oh God, Chris, can you smell this? My wife is in the room. She's over at her desk. Can you smell?
No.
She can't smell it, so it's not. I guess it's not that pungent. So you can't smell it across or you like sitting next to it. It could be that I'm just sensitive to the smell too. But realistically, I don't have much of a sense of smell because of my allergies. So it's funny that I can smell it and she can't. They are stanky. Stanky, stanky stamps. So here, look, this is a problem with inexpensive cling stamps is that when they cut them, there's all kinds of schmutz on the edge. You got to clean that up. Otherwise, you get lumpy stamps. Not only are they stanky, but they could be. All right. Oh, God. I just peeled it off and I can smell it again. All right, let's get... Let's see if I can drop it again. And this is part of the problem of the very narrow And I am getting ink all over my fingers. Oh, crap. So, actually, these are not bad. I like the firmness of these stamps. I don't know if you can see, but that gave me a really nice, thin, crisp line. That's actually super nice. I'm surprised at how much I like them. And I really like the little dot grid there. I am getting ink all over my hands. Let's do another stamp. So I didn't get an even stamp on that one, but it is nice and crisp. That did a really nice, crisp. I'm really impressed at how nice these lines came out. If it's inked well, you're going to get a really nice, crisp print from that. And I mashed that down. Here, let's try some of the others. I'm impressed with this. Yeah, I don't like numbering the month. But what I see these for is more for like to-do lists and little highlights. You want to highlight something. Let's try this one. I'm actually gonna. I'm not a big fan of that little thin acrylic doodad. I suppose I've been spoiled with these. So what you can do with this is, with these lines, you can really line them up really well and get it straight on there. So I don't know if you can see. Well, look at that. I didn't line it up. That's better. All right. And let's see how we'll actually look at how. So that's dye-based ink. It responded pretty well. We can try something with a little more oomph in a second here. So I'm going to mash this down. Yeah, even mashed down. I mashed that stamp pretty well. And I got a nice, clean print from it. Color me impressed. I'm really suitably impressed with how well these stamps are standing up to me mashing them. Because sometimes with these, I find with these kind of cheap rubber stamps, you get bad prints really easily. But what I'm finding is, well, so if I move it around, then you get a bad print. But even like not inked well, I got a nice crisp print. I'm pretty happy with this. This was a good deal, I think. Let's see. Let's try some of the other things. And I'm doing all of this in the Story Supply summer. Let's try the little to-do list things. And I am going to get out a different ink pad. I'm going to do some pigment inks here so we can see how those work. So I got a couple of pigment inks. Oh, and we can get real fancy and try the StazOn, because why not? And then I've got some more pigment. Of course, just smack the camera. All right. I'm going to try this one, the little to-do list. One of the things I do want to try with the little to-do list, little divot there. Actually, you know what? We're going to do this. You can't see that. Putting it on the edge of that block. So let's try it with just this. Yeah. That's super nice. That did a nice clean print as well. And that's with the dye-based pad. Let me get that cleaned off a little bit. And let's go, I'm going to go with a blue pigment. And we're going to see how it responds to a pigment. Yeah, even with the pigment. Light touch. The pigment, it's, so I'm kind of mashed it there for a minute. The pigment pad, you can, so you can see with this one, a little over ink, so I got a little smush. But this one is much better. I did use the lighter hand. That's a second print. So you can very easily get a nice clean print with that, with the pigment. Let's see what it looks like on the other page, because we know that the dye ink does pretty well. How's the pigment ink? And the pigment ink does just fine. Now, let's get a little crazy and we'll use some StazOn. I've never actually used this ink pad. I don't even know what this one looks like. I'm going to find out. Very, very pungent, the StazOn. And of course, I got StazOn on my hands, because that's the way it is with StazOn. So, StazOn does nice clean print, and if anything was going to soak through, there's a little show through on that one. No soak through. So I'm pleasantly surprised with how these, first off, these are nice firm stamps, and also I'm actually pretty happy with how this is standing up to the various types of ink. So this is my calendar stamp, and I do write the, as much as there's all kinds of schmutz on that. I do stamp this out in all of my pocket notebooks. And I've actually got to clean that tonight. See how that looks. Well, that printed really well. So this paper is really great. If you're rubber stamping, this paper is actually doing really well with all of these different inks. But I have to say, I am super happy with this stamp set. I think this is a really nice bullet journaling set. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to use it all. I know that it's probably sized for all of the planners. Let's check this one out. We're just going to try stuff tonight. It's probably sized for all of the planners that they do sell at Michael's. So it's probably going to fit in those planner spots. That's actually really nice too. I like that. And I smooshed all kinds of ink onto that. So I actually, if you get a chance to go into your local Michael's, these were in with the planner stuff, not with the rubber stamps that are usually with the rest of the organization stuff or rubber stamps. These were with the planner things. So they have that sale on planner things, but the sale does not also extend to things that are just in the general stamps. So like this was on sale, but this stamp set was not today because this is not in the planner section, despite the fact that it's also a calendar. Michael's makes no sense sometimes. So technically speaking, this is also a planner item, just like this is. We will never know their way. Doesn't make any sense. All right, now I'm stamping things, and I just want to stamp all. I want to try all of them. I'm actually going to go back to this block because I know this is going to fit onto it, and I probably won't get my fingers in it. So we're going to do this. What I could see this being really useful for is, you know, just if you have like my bullet journal in the back of my notebook. Yeah, nice and crisp. I didn't ink this one particularly well, but nice crisp impression. Oh, schmutz. There's more schmutz on it. And it, oh my, I haven't mentioned it recently because I think I'm acclimating to the odor, but I just got another whiff of the odor of these things, and man, let me see if I can get this one inked a little better. So, got a lot of ink on that one. Turn the page. And, oh, look, it's staple day for any field notes people who... So I did smush that a little bit. But if you do a straight up and down... interesting. Actually, you know what? So I don't think you're going to be able to pick this up on camera, but those little dots that aren't printing, there's a reason they're not printing, and it's because if you look at the stamp, and I know you're not going to be able to, maybe you can kind of see that those 4 dots right there are actually lower than the rest of the dots. Those are never going to print. So there's one downer to this rubber stamp, but it does do a really nice crisp print. And if I was really cared a lot, if I really cared enough about it, I could take this back and probably exchange it with no problems. Michaels is usually pretty good about that kind of stuff. So I'm sure I could walk into the store tomorrow with this and my receipt, get an exchange, and just say these were defective, and they would give me back my money or just give me a new one. That's what I would be looking for, because I actually really like these, and I think these are great. This is something I'll never use. So this will be the one time this stamp gets used. So, and you saw it here on camera. There you go. Some little hearts. So, like the video. So this is going to be the one time that stamp gets used, because I will never use the little hearts that I know of. But I will use the little dots, the little basic, I think, elements for bullet journaling. So, the $4 and however many cents I spent on that set was a deal. And if you're looking for a basic bullet journaling set, I would say that this set is actually pretty darn good and worth it. So anyone who's just joining or recently joined, I did some testing of the Story Supply paper. Sorry for the color, the light change. My big monitor went out. So I did some testing of the Story Supply paper. You can see earlier in the video I did test watercolor washes a little heavier, some single washes, tested a bunch of fountain pens on the paper, and some gel inks, some mild liners and highlighters. Then I just started testing some bullet journal rubber stamps that I picked up at Michael's today, and got really rather impressed by these bullet journal stamps. And so if you're looking for a bullet journal stamp, these are pretty good deal. Nice crisp print on all of this paper, and there's a little show through, but nothing that makes the pages unusable. So definitely the Story Supply pocket notebooks plus rubber stamps could be a really useful addition to your bullet journal arsenal, if you will. And they responded well to pigment stamps. cheap pigment stamps, cheap dye-based stamps, and even StazOn. So, I mean, granted, we're not doing like big images with the StazOn, but the StazOn actually didn't soak through. I was relatively impressed with that. So, Story Supply pocket notebooks. If you want to see the morning edition, their new limited edition, you can go back to the beginning of the video. And there you go. So thanks for look at all that ink. I got so much ink on my fingertips. Thanks for watching, and I'll be doing more live videos probably at some point. I like to do them here and there. Just, you know, when I get random stuff in the mail, I do like to test it out with people. So thanks for watching. If you want to support a great company, head on over to storysupplycompany.co and pick up some of their limited editions. This, I mean, the smoke edition. I don't necessarily want to touch it. The morning edition is beautiful, and they're a great company to support. And Vito is one of the nicest guys out there in stationery land. So supporting them as a company is great. And also, go get some good deals at Michael's, because these bullet journal stamps, if you're looking for something for bullet journaling, are fabulous. So thank you for watching, and I'll probably do more of these in the future. And subscribe. There's, I think, the red button's down here. Subscribe to my channel if you want to get notified that I'm doing something live in the future. I will be putting up notices on the Facebook group, Twitter, and other places. Possibly erasables, but head on over to the RSVP Stationery Podcast Facebook page, because I'm more likely to post there than erasables. I sometimes feel like I'm impinging upon their domain. But anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great night, and pick up some Story Supply Company. Bye.